Smiley Day Geeks, welcome back to the Geek Cider Show. I'm Josh.
Anna.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about Critical Role Campaign 3, episodes 25 and 26. So if you haven't seen them yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. Episode 25, the first half was kind of just fun. It was Taste of Tal'Dorei. It was a lot of fun, like little Easter eggs and little what's it called? It was quirky.
Yeah.
It was just a quirky little section where it was just good laughs.
Yeah.
The real stuff happened in the second half of that episode.
Yeah. The only they did get some lore, although how much of it's accurate, we have no idea really. I'm sure people do have idea because they probably looked it up, but the players don't know. Like the characters in the story don't really know how much of this is actually accurate. In fact, when one of them asked Orem if this was true, and he's like, not much.
Yeah, not much of it.
Yeah, not much.
So it's basically
like medieval times.
Yeah, that's almost exactly what it was. It was medieval. They had like a little show and everything.
Yeah.
And but then the second half, Fern, they were first of all, they just walked like as a group a lap around the fort. I'm like, I don't know why they didn't think, hey, let's try to be sneaky about this. I'm like, of course you're gonna get spotted. They didn't even have to roll for a stealth.
Yeah. I think it was just they were all off for a month and they just didn't think about it. Excited to be back.
It was a really bad brain fart because it fucked them over in episode 26.
It really did.
But Fern, she turned into a quokka and did get inside with the help of Imogen and some telekinesis. And again, that was more just kind of hijinks and fun.
Yeah.
Like she got a little bit of a look of what the inside looks like.
She saw Ratanish.
Yeah.
That was kind of a big thing. That kind of gives them an in, which I love how their very first plan was Ashen should just go in and say that he's here for the job that Ratanish offered, and it's kind of circled around, and now that's kind of basically what they're doing.
Yeah, they're going to go in, and if that goes,
Although they're going in as a group as opposed to just sending Ashen, which thank God, because that's a terrible idea.
Right, you don't send them in alone.
No.
But when that goes bad, the death race is the backup plan.
Yes.
But and I love what Orem said. He said something about like in episode 26. Orem's used to these intricate plans, coming from the voice of the Tempest. These really well thought things, and they have this shit show over here, and he throws in 100 gold.
yes.
He's like, He's like, I'm in. Let's do it.
Poor Orem, this is so different from what he must have been used to.
The Airshari are like this well-oiled machine,
yeah.
And then there's Bell's Hells.
Yeah, and it's just, the Crown Keepers really kind of paved the way for him to be like, I guess this is what we're doing now.
This is what we're doing. All right. Yep.
Yeah, because Bell's Hell's worse, I think. I At the beginning of C3, I was like, no. Crown's Keepers were chaotic as fuck. Bell's Hell's worse. They're so worse.
They're just getting worse.
Yeah. Oh god.
They're not getting any better.
No, they're not getting any better.
For the most part, though, episode 25 was just kind of fun and hijinks.
Yeah.
The real stuff happened in episode 26.
Absolutely, yeah.
Starting in episode 24, actually, we started getting a lot of lore.
Yeah.
All centered around Bassaris, the town where they are. And first of all, it's an awesome town. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming up. But the amount of lore that has been found in this town, character-specific lore.
Yeah.
This kind of clues me that this campaign's not going to be as long as the Mighty Niner Vox Machina.
Yeah, another thing also is that we're not really doing individual arcs. Like, we are. They each have their own story arcs, but a lot of their arcs are tied together. Mm-hmm. And not like the whole time or anything, but like they kind of weave in and out where characters get to experience part of their arc with another character. Yeah. As opposed to doing one whole character arc and then going and doing another character arc. And I think just doing it that way lends itself to a quicker, faster-paced campaign or a shorter campaign.
Yeah. Like a really good example is I think Orem's arc and Imogen's arc are going to those two things are going to coincide, I think.
I think eventually they're going to diverge.
Well, there's going to be links and there's going to be divergences between them. But I think Ruidus is going to be a big part of both of them.
Yes, yeah. I do think it has something to do with Ruidus.
The Ruidus and Ruidus Born, I think, is going to be a big part of both of those stories. The assassins from Orm's arc, that army.
Yeah, the description of the group's army sounded very much like the assassins.
So it could link up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, see the characters, their arcs are going to intertwine. And I think there'll be parts where they split and parts where they come together.
Yeah.
But I think this campaign is going to be much shorter than the previous two.
I do think we're going to see story arcs where it's two characters for most of it, even if other people's arcs come in together or happen simultaneously. And this is just out there thing. There's no evidence to it. But I kind of think that FCG and Ashton's stories are going to interconnect because FCG's from Aor and Ashton has Dunamancy in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that those two things are going to end up, because Dunamancy's from Aor, or Aorians were working with Dunamancy. Like that's, I don't think it didn't directly come straight from there because the Luxon and stuff helped the Kryn, but they are linked kind of, so I think that their stories are going to end up being interconnected, even though we don't see a lot of that yet.
Yeah, and you brought up FCG. In episode 26, we got a massive FCG lore dump, and none of it was really a surprise. Everything was stuff that we pretty much already knew, but we got confirmation.
Yeah, the only surprise in all of FCG's lore dump was that Dancer's still alive.
Yeah.
The rest of it was all stuff that we had already theorized and thought about,
or has been confirmed somewhere else.
Yeah, it has been already confirmed. So like none of it was shocking. What was shocking was the just sheer amount of FCG lore that he got in one sitting this early. And
what was a little bit crazy to me was all that lore came from one person.
Yeah.
The Aor lore part,
which makes sense because Aor is not like hugely popular. It would be like asking somebody today, "Hey, tell me everything you know about Mesopotamia."
Yeah,
like you get a vague understanding, but not a lot.
But then that same NPC also has some information on Fern.
Yeah.
So the NPC dropping lore on two different characters. That's another thing. It's like, okay, this is going to be a much shorter campaign than what we're used to from Critical Role.
Mm-hmm. I also, so we found out in these episodes that Dusk is probably evil.
A villain?
Yeah.
Dusk is still kind of weird to me because when they're with the group, they're very much like, "Oh man, you guys are awesome," and I buy it.
I know.
Like
they are a very good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they were contacted by whoever that was,
Court.
Yeah, the Unseelie Court. They were like, there's a daughter, right? Like very sinister.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, okay. So I'm wondering if at some point they did travel with Fern's parents and maybe got attached to the Callaways in some way, and they're a double agent or something. I don't know exactly what's going on there. There's definitely more than meets the eye with Dusk, and I think it's more than just being a simple villain who has infiltrated the group too.
Yeah, maybe. What I like about Dusk is that even if they are just a straight up villain, that is not a thing that's really been done by a guest player.
No, at all.
The only example we have is in Vox Machina, and I don't want to do spoilers, but like he wasn't a villain. He just had an ulterior motive, and he betrayed them for that. That's
and he didn't even really betray them. He was just like, "Hey, I'm taking this. Bye."
Yeah. So, that's the only other option. All the other times when you have a guest, they're always just a member of the group for a little bit, like, or playing in an arc. Like we've never had a villain guest, and I am here for it.
It's a risky move for a DM to do, to have a potential character who is against the party.
Yeah.
In a home game, I don't know if I would do that. In an actual play, dude, fucking go for it. because you're in it for the ratings, right?
Yeah.
And inter-party conflict is good for ratings. In a home game, though, that can kill a campaign in a hurry.
Yeah, and like so, during Dusk's thing, when they lay down to go to sleep, their face flashes in a couple of different colors. And apparently, like, this is a thing that Eladrin elves can possibly do. I don't know a whole lot about Eladrin elves. My first thought, though, was that Dusk is a changeling, which kind of made my heart flutter a little bit, because I've always had this idea of being a changeling in a campaign and nobody else in the campaign knowing that my character is a changeling and my character is working against the group. Which, obviously, character arc would come to fall in love with the group and not do what they were sent there to do. But like an infiltrator, that's like been brewing in the back of my mind. But it's also one of those, it's just like having a guest be a villain. Like, you have to really know your table and know that they would be okay with this, because you can't run it by them or you ruin the whole surprise. They've been playing together for so long. They know each other inside and out, and they communicate.
Be totally be into it.
You can just tell based on certain interactions and role playing that they have communication sessions with each other. Especially like the argument with Laudna and Imogen.
Yeah.
Like you could tell that they trusted each other, because that felt real. It felt like Marisha and Laura were mad at each other, and it's still at the table when they are in character. It feels like Laura's mad at Marisha.
But then watch Four-Sided Dive.
Then you watch Four-Sided Dive, and they're totally fine. And in the in-betweens, when they drop their character for a little bit, you can tell that they're fine. Like when Marisha was doing this thing with her hair.
Yeah.
So like, it's just how good they are at getting into that. But obviously there's communication there.
Yeah, and they're also professional actors.
That too.
But communication is the most important part of that. You can't have an inter-party conflict, whether you're an actor or whether you're just some group of people at the table. If you're not communicating outside of character and making sure everything's cool, you can't do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do want to talk about Ashton, because in episode 26, they went with, who was in that group?
It was Imogen.
Imogen was there. Yeah, because Imogen opened up her mind.
Yeah, because Ashton said,
paid the price for that.
Don't do your mind fuckery with these people.
And she
immediately, like, not even waited until they were about to leave. No, like, fucking immediately did it, and she paid the price, and I kind of love that.
Yeah. It's fuck around and find out, and she did.
Yeah. Was it Chetney? Was
Chetney in that group? Anyway, this was a conglomeration. It was like an opium den, and it was like a conglomeration of, were they all bird folk?
I don't think we got confirmation or denial.
But one of them was a cardinal.
Yes, Judy
or Judy or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this NPC was supposed to be a Kenku, but Matt's voicing was kind of like, the pitches were all over the place, and he didn't call it a Kenku.
No,
but it seemed Kenku to me.
He called it an Isphera.
Did he?
Yes, he called it an Isphera. I don't think that voice was different.
It seemed like more than one entity talking to me, and that's why I thought Kenku, because they're cursed and they learn words and phrases from a variety of people, so their voices are kind of all over the place. And that was the vibe I got. But it could have been the hive mind talking through them.
See, I got
and
more.
So the voices all over the place.
Yeah, if you have some people talking at you, you know what? A lot of neurodivergent people will reflect. I forget what it's called, but when you're speaking with somebody, you start adapting their speech patterns and stuff like that. That's what I got from that. They've got a million people talking in their head, and they'll hear one, pick up on that, and then start doing that voice. So it was the same voice, it was just different, like, affectations or whatever.
Then when Imogen opened up her mind, it was just like static blaring in her head, and she got a nosebleed. And Judy, I think that was the name, picked up on it, was like, you all right there? Give her a look. And you know what? Good. I'm glad Imogen kind of paid the price there.
Yeah, same. Because, like, not even 2 minutes prior to that conversation, Ashton had told her, do not do your mind shit in there. They don't like it. And she fucking did it anyway. And I thought we were getting some growth. And she even had a moment, and I can't remember if it was before that or after that, where she said, I haven't been going to people's minds as much. Haven't you noticed?
Yeah.
But apparently no. Like, she's had a little bit of regression there.
In FCG's group, they went shopping and bought bombs. And they did not end up getting a pepper box, right?
No, it was too
Fern
expensive.
wanted one.
Yeah, she did.
Fern wanted one.
Yeah.
And like she wanted to make it like an attachment on FCG, and I'm like, that would be cool.
That would be really cool.
But FCG's like, I'm a cleric. I heal people. I'm like, yeah, but you could have a pepper box on your hand. That'd be awesome. Why can't you do both? I would be really interested to see what Talison's thoughts are on seeing Percy's creations all over Exandria at this point, because Percy was very much against the schematics and stuff for this stuff to get out anywhere.
Yeah.
And now it's everywhere.
Yeah, Anna made it her business to put that shit everywhere.
And if it's there, it's got to be all over.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Hopefully we'll find out on one of the four-sided dives, which if you are not watching four-sided dive, you need to. It's so
really
good.
It's really
yeah, it's so good. And you learn so much. You get like these little nuggets of extra information that don't affect the show at all, but it gives you a little bit more insight as a viewer, and I like that.
The thing I'm most looking forward to, I hope they do the death race.
Oh my
you have
God,
to.
yes.
If they went to all that trouble to basically commissioning a vehicle, and then they don't do it, oh my God, I will be crushed. I want to see that so bad.
Yeah, I want to see that RP because like there's a number of
I want to see the terrain and the vehicles and shit.
Terrain, yeah. Now though, it only takes 2 people, which 2 are going to be in it, and I know the other ones are going to be sabotaging the track from all over. But like, who's going to be in the car? Ashton absolutely has to. You can't.
It's
you
his
can't do
lifelong
this.
dream to do
Yeah,
this.
you
He's got
can't
to
do this
do it.
ambassador as something that he's always wanted to do, and then not let him be in that car.
Yeah.
I don't see him driving it though, so I wonder who's going to drive them around.
Yeah.
They will be artillery and shit.
Well, I think it's got to be Ashton and Imogen, because Ashton to drive and Imogen to use her magic, firing off at the other.
Well, they
the
got
other
a
vehicles.
carbine put on it.
They did the carbine and the armor. That's right. So I don't think I would have gone with the carbine. I think I would have gone with a magic user, because the carbine is going to be stationary, right? It's mounted.
I have no idea. I'm sure he'll have a model.
Yeah, it could be on a rail where you could run it around.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to. I want to see the terrain. I want to see the vehicle.
I would love to see Orv and Ashton in the car.
Regardless,
but,
Ashton
whatever.
has to.
Ashton's
drive.
got to be in the car.
Ashton's got to drive.
Yeah.
It's been their dream like since forever to be in this race. So I think that's all we have for this episode. We're both still kind of getting over the COVID. We still have a little bit of that brain fog going, so I am positive there was stuff that we forgot to mention. Let us know down in the comments.
Please.
Also, if you enjoyed this video, please let us know by dropping a like on it and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.